This presentation is a case study about migrating from a traditional trial and error design process toward a more modern process that uses surrogate modeling and numerical optimization. Here's an example of the trial and error process conducted last year at Northrop. The team started with an initial design which needed improvement. In this case, we wanted to reduce component stress and reduce input torque. We modified the design, evaluated it via simulation. When it still didn't meet the requirement, we repeated until eventually we arrived at an acceptable design. This probably sounds familiar. It's very common. It works, but it's unlikely to lead to a truly optimized design. You can see clearly that we improved on our initial design, but we thought we could reduce component stress further. However, our manual trials seem to be hitting a lower limit. So the team at Northrop decided to try a new approach called surrogate optimization. This approach allowed us to make radical improvement to the performance of our design. In this presentation, I'll describe what surrogate modeling is, how we implemented it, and what our outcomes were from using it. Before we talk about surrogate optimization, let's first review how numerical optimization would be performed directly on a physics-based simulation model. We'd start with an initial design. That would feed into an optimization loop that would successively generate design variants, check for convergence based on difference between successive variants, run simulations to evaluate the variant performance, and use the outputs to determine the next variant. Once the variants converge, the loop ends and returns the converged optimal design. This process can be quite cumbersome due to the high computational cost of the physics-based simulation, even with a model that runs in minutes. Surrogate modeling alleviates this high computational cost. A surrogate model is a statistical model that must be trained from the results of the physics-based model. But once a surrogate model is trained, it becomes trivial to run numerous evaluations. In surrogate optimization, the high-cost simulation is replaced by a low-cost surrogate model. The optimum design radically improved on our prior best design from the trial and error approach. With the upper feed active, the trial and error approach reduced the stress by 18% from the baseline design and the torque by 23%. The surrogate optimization design reduced these by 42% and 48%. With the lower feed active, the trial and error approach again reduced stress by 18% and made no reduction in torque. The surrogate optimization design reduced stress by 37% and torque by 29%. We can then model the optimized design back in Adams to study other aspects of the optimized spring performance and compare back to the baseline design. Here we see the upper feed results. The optimized response in blue has significantly reduced torque and stress compared to the baseline in black. You can also see that the spring still functions properly, delivering each round to the rotor. Here we see the lower feed results tell the same story. Significant reductions in torque and stress while maintaining proper functionality.